What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Lee Jr., aka Blue Grad Lover, coach of your Carolina Crescelias. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a really quick draft breakdown of what I picked, why I picked what I picked before the season officially starts. So my first round pick was Celesteela. I wanted that big defensive wall. It sets up with Totemize, physical attacker, special attacker. It basically does whatever I need it to, week in, week out. It's supposed to be here every week, and I was picking sixth. So originally I was wanting Cartana in this position, but it went third. And so I'm like, Steel type's priority, especially in a draft league setting. So grabbing Celesteela at 6 felt like a no-brainer to me, and so it was. In the second round, I took Mega Sableye because I actually had a thought. We get 400 free points. I'm looking at it, I'm like, 400 free points means that you could draft 4 tier 2 mons with your 1 required tier 2 and then 3 as your free picks, costing you 120 points a piece, as long as you were willing to take a tier 5. I figure, take a tier 5 Pokemon and have a tier 2 Mega. So I was looking at it, I said, you know what, that actually makes a lot of sense. So I grabbed Mega Sableye. First things first, Mega Sableye's typing of Dark and Ghost helps out with Celesteela, but Celesteela can also protect it because it can take fairy type hits that, of course, Mega Sableye may not want to take. Gets recover, knock off, fake out. I mean, it's really slow, doesn't really do a whole lot, but at the same time, knowing that if you try to hazard stack me, and I can just send out a Mega Sableye, which obviously has magic bounce and can just bounce it back, makes you think twice about setting hazards against me. My third round pick, and if you can't tell, I'm actually recording this outside, I kind of figure I'll take advantage of the sunlight. My third round pick was the mascot pick of Cresselia. Kind of figure, add some more bulk to the team. It gives me a Trick Room setter, which is really nice, given the fact that my base speeds so far have been incredibly slow. It can set up with Calm Mind just like Mega Sableye can, and it's another setup sweeper. Very bulky on both especially and physically defensive sides. Mostly known for being kind of a Calm Mind setup variant. It does get dual screens, it does get Trick Room, so obviously those are things that you kind of have to plan for, even if I don't necessarily always think to bring them. It does get good coverage as well, so there's that. There's always that. My third round pick was maybe the only other snipe that I really had, because I was looking at, or fourth round pick rather, because I was really looking at Milotic here, but I picked Sylveon instead. I ended up picking Sylveon because Milotic was already picked, and the idea behind the Sylveon pick was I want to go ahead and work on my Fairy Dragon Steel core. I already have my Steel type. I want to pick up my Fairy type. Very bulky mod. Gets Pixelate and actually has priority Quick Attack. It gets Quick Attack from Eevee, and so Pixelate, Quick Attack is something that you may have to watch out for. Moving right on along, my fifth round pick, and I'm like I said, I picked sixth in the first, and so I came back and picked seventh the next round, and so I'm kind of in the middle at all times, which actually helped me out quite a bit because I basically went down the list of mons that I wanted and picked every single mon that I wanted, almost. In the 5th round, I'm like, Mammoth Swine is still here. I want somebody who can set up rocks. Priority Ice Shard is always going to be something that is that can be necessary. It can actually set up with Curse, so maybe there's some shenanigans there that can be done. Obviously, it gets Earthquake and Avalanche and Knockoff, and it can be an incredibly annoying mon to deal with. It only hits base 80, so at this particular point in time, Cresselia is actually my fastest mon at base 85. So it was kind of one of those odd situations where, okay, whatever. I'm doing me at this particular point in time. Let's see what happens. In the 6th round, finishing off my tier through tier 2, I grabbed the Fighting Dragon type Komo-O. I kind of figured, let's go ahead, finish off my Fairy Dragon Steel Core with Komo-O. It gets Dragon Dance. It can set up Dragon Dances. It gets Close Combat now. It gets Drain Punch. It gets Outrage and Dragon Claw and Poison Jab for Fairy types. Earthquake for Steel types. Obviously, it's already a fighting type, so Steel types have to worry about that too. Which, excuse me, makes it incredibly valuable to my team. And obviously, Bulletproof is actually a really good ability because it could switch in on Shadow Balls that Cresselia does not necessarily enjoy taking. It can switch in on stuff like Bullet Seed or Energy Ball. It gets those options there, which I kind of found to be a very valuable thing. In the 7th round, I took Noivern. The basic idea here is my highest speed tier right now is 85. There's a lot of bulk there, but my highest speed tier is 85. Noivern kind of fixes the speed tier because it hits base 123. Specs Boom Burst is nothing to laugh at. It gets U-turn, which is nice. Flamethrower, Psychic, Shadow Ball. You can't laugh at it. It is an incredibly hard-hitting mon. You cannot laugh at it. So it cycles back around to me in the 8th round. I'm sitting here. Okay, I want to add a little more support for Celesteela, because of course I have to build around Celesteela. And I grab Crocodile. So Scarf Moxie Crook obviously is terrifying. And you will find out why next week. But that's beyond the point right now of this video. Scarf Moxie Crook hits incredibly hard. Crocodile in general hits incredibly hard. It's not the fastest mon. I mean, at this particular point, it's actually the 2nd fastest mon on my team, which is saying something. It's base 88. Intimidate is also nice. Being able to hit Stab Knockoff is Stab Earthquake and Knockoff. What's not to love? Unless you're on the receiving end of said Stab, Earthquake, or Knockoff. It gives me another Stealth Rocker, which is nice. I think it does get set up in... It might not get set up, but which is something I'll have to look up for a fact. I think it gets set up, but I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, my 9th round pick, I'm like, okay, my Fairy Dragon Steel Core is done. I've got 2 different dragon types that serve 2 entirely separate purposes, although they can both pretty much serve the same purpose. Go figure. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, the next mon that I need to take, I want to get a fire type. I'm looking in Tier 3 because I get my second free Tier 3 pick and take the best available mon, and that is Darmanitan. So, for those of you who don't know, Darmanitan hits like a truck. Base 140 attack. It has no special attack. It doesn't need special attack. At base 140, with something like a life orb, and in sitting with with its own little, I'm trying to remember, with Flare Blitz and Sheer Force, there's very few things in any draft that can take that. Because 140 attack with a life orb boosted, Sheer Force boosted, Flare Blitz is an incredibly dangerous thing. And the other thing about that is Sheer Force hides the life orb. So I could be life orb, and obviously I could maybe trick a scarf or trick a band, which is incredibly powerful in and of itself. But I don't want to spoil too much. Moving right on, we're getting close to the nitty gritty of the draft. I'm down to 2 picks. They both have to be Tier 5 picks. So I'm looking in Tier 5. The first mon I pick is Lantern. So, bulky, watering, electric type, gets Water Absorb, gets Volt Absorb, both of which are great abilities for it to have. It Volt switches, so now I have a U-turner and a Volt switcher. It's a water type, which I previously didn't have, and most of its weaknesses are already covered by Celesteela. So, to me, it was a great pickup and a great kind of middling, low-tier pick. And then, last but not least, in Tier 5, my final pick was Levani. So, kind of finishes up the budget Firewater Grass core, which admittedly I had to do. The plan wasn't actually to have Milotic as a water type to help take off pressure, but that didn't happen. And obviously the whole point behind Levani is it gets webs. My team goes base 123, base 95, which is Darmanitan. Levani hits 91, and then everything else is under 90. That by itself kind of necessitated me having to pick a good web setter. I originally intended to pick an Araquanid, but I realized later on that Araquanid was Tier 4 and I had already taken Tier 4 Noivern. So, I mean, it's one of those, I was kind of damned if I did, damned if I didn't. And obviously it's a grass type, so it kind of gives me a bit of a fallback option, if you will, for certain things. I mean, it's not necessarily the greatest pickup in the world, but at the same time, it was a necessary pickup for me. With that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. So, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hopefully, it'll actually look a little better than this one. As I said, I'm kind of doing this little short notice, so I will catch you guys in the next one, which will be the draft which will not be a draft analysis. It will be a team breakdown for week 1, which I should have up on next Friday or next Saturday. So keep an eye out for that. Be breaking down my team for week 1. Regardless, have yourselves a great day. I'm Michael Lee Jr., aka Blue Red Lover, signing off.